ranking every single wonder weapon from worst to best. Wonder weapons are the reason that we play zombies, or they're the reason you're going to be jumping off a 57th floor building. The criteria for this list is going to be based on three main factors. The first being how good it is, which means how far the weapon could take you into the high rounds and how effective it is at killing the zombies. Secondly, it's going to be how you acquire the weapon. Do you have to run across the entire map for 45 minutes while doing 17 steps, like taking out the trash, getting your stepsister out the dryer? Or can you simply just spin the mystery box? Lastly, it's gonna be how fun it is. This is very important because if a weapon is not fun and you're going for high rounds, you're probably gonna lose your mind and turn into a zombie yourself. But these are our three main factors this list is gonna be based on. This is also gonna be Treyarch only. There is no bias in this whatsoever. And also tell or tweet at all your favorite zombies YouTubers to react to this list, because unlike them, I'm a real zombies player and I know what I'm talking about. But without further ado, let's go. Tundra Gun. The worst wonder weapon ever made is the Tundra Gun, the final zombie map in the Aether storyline, and we get to play as the crew from Transit and use a rip-off version of the Thunder Gun. This shoots popsicles at the zombies and deals next to no damage. The name sounds like a special ed kid couldn't pronounce Thunder Gun right, so the Make-A-Wish Foundation got confused and told Treyarch to make a Tundra Gun instead of the Thunder Gun, because that is the only explanation I can think of for this ever being allowed in a zombies game. Jet Gun. The jet gun is harder to build than a man that's in bed with Kim K. You have to run around the fog-ridden maps with the bald, crazy rabbit lookalikes chasing after you, and after you go through the torture of building it and begin to use it, you find out it breaks after 10 seconds and now you gotta build the whole thing over again. Sniper Waffle. Yet another terrible attempt to remake a classic wonder weapon on Togder Toten. They basically said, we're gonna bring back the most overused wonder weapon of all time, then put a sniper scope on it and make it do less damage. The only way you can take out full hordes of zombies with this is by getting headshots, which we all know was impossible without having Deadshot Daiquiri. VR11. The VR11 is actually considered by many to be the worst, but I actually enjoy it very much. I mean guys, it's a one-shot kill on any round. Sure, it's only one zombie at a time, but I mean, hey, it's still a one-shot. Also, it's extremely good on co-op because if you pack-a-punch it then shoot your teammate with it, they get an insta-kill on any round. But I guess if you don't have any friends, then it's not that good. Kraken. The Kraken is named after a mythical sea monster because it's a myth that this gun will ever be cool. It's just so ugly to look at. While the damage isn't too bad, it really isn't anything special, and the upgrading process for it can be a real pain sometimes. Not to mention, it's on the absolute worst map in zombies history, so you probably won't ever be using this anyway. Lightning Staff. While some people are going to be mad at me for this decision, I gotta say, we need to cancel this staff here in 2023. There's a reason the Lightning Staff is always given to the worst player in the lobby. It does the worst damage, has no cool abilities, and it's just not that good. One of the most overrated weapons ever. Winter's Howl. Now some people might be surprised that I actually have the Winter's Owl up this high, but I think it's slightly underrated. I think that the maps it's on, being 5 and Verrect, are perfect for it, since it's a weapon that slows the zombies down in those tight corridors, and I also think it's one of the most fun as well as being very simple to obtain. Let's stop the Winter's Howl hate here in 2023. The Die. The Die has got to be the worst Cold War wonder weapon. There's 4 different variants of it which you can also pack-a-punch, but it's just underwhelming compared to some of the other weapons and things you can use to kill zombies instead. So I believe it's bottom of the barrel for Cold War. Ray Gun. The ray gun is the most iconic and classic weapon ever, being the only weapon to appear in every single zombies game. Back in World at War and Black Ops 1, it was the mythical beast that everyone wanted, since you didn't have much else, but in Black Ops 2 it was a little less desired, but still one of the better weapons in the game. However, Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4 completely destroyed its reputation, and people would rather use a shotgun than the ray gun. However, Cold War revived it, and now the ray gun is once again one of the most incredible weapons you can use. Ray K. The Ray K is what the name entails, being an AK-47 combined with a ray gun Mark III. It had the same ability as the Mark III, making a black hole that sucks zombies up while also having laser bullets that penetrate through them. It's not a bad wonder weapon by any means, but it's just a little underwhelming to use, and there's better out there. Death of Orion. The first Black Ops 4 wonder weapon to appear on this list is the Death of Orion. It's just okay. It's like a worse version of the Wonder Waff, and it's very useful for taking out the boss zombies, but it's just not that special, and there's something about it that feels off whenever I use it. I would just rather use a specialist weapon, and the time that it takes for this weapon to kill is a little too much. Ray Gun Mark II. The ray gun Mark II is the burst rifle version of the ray gun, and it gets rid of the splash damage and deals 3 times critical damage with headshots. It makes it possible for you to get collaterals and shoot through all the zombies themselves. The ray gun Mark II is a solid wonder weapon that will take you to rounds 50, maybe 60. Scavenger. You might be surprised to see the Scavenger this high up on the list, but you gotta understand that with PhD Flopper, this thing is a monster. While the damage will drop off into the 50s, there is no better weapon for killing George and for saving your life, since every shot will act like a monkey bomb, and not to mention it's one of the funnest weapons to ever use. Ray gun Mark III. There are so many ray guns, but I guess the ray gun Mark III is the best, since you can literally just sit in the corner and shoot this thing until around 70. It has a ton of ammo, it can get you drops, and is a must-have for the Easter egg. If it was just able to kill a little longer, it would be higher up on the list. Paralyzer. The Paralyzer is like the better version of the jet gun, in which it can slow zombies down and it has infinite ammo. If you get Vulture's aid, you can just hold your trigger and sit in the corner until around 50, and every time it overheats, just sit in the green smoke and you'll be fine. And what I think separates the Paralyzer from other guns is how you can get the ability to spread your wings and fly. You can use the Paralyzer to shoot at your feet and it will put you up into the air. Not only is this fun and cool to use, but it can help you get out of sticky situations and traverse across the map. But I just don't think that many people ever really utilize this part of it. But if they did, they would like it a whole lot more. Alistair's Folly. The Alistair's Folly is a cool weapon on a below average map, and there are some people who really don't like this weapon at all, but it's actually a very solid wonder weapon. However, I think it would serve better, perhaps on a different map or engine. Crystal Axe. The Crystal Axe is one of the coolest and most unique wonder weapons, and happens to be one of the only melee wonder weapons ever included in zombies. It regenerates your shield and health when dealing damage to zombies, making it extremely overpowered. However, its damage starts to drop off in the 40s, which makes it not a one-shot kill anymore. Fire Staff. The Fire Staff is the middle of the road staff, which means no one thinks it's the best, but no one thinks it's the worst. The Fire Staff does decent damage up to the 70s, and while it can be a pain to upgrade at times, it still stands as one of the better wonder weapons. KT-4. The KT-4 is an example of just good, not great. While you have to load up Zetsubo no Ushima and go through the pain of setting up, getting the parts, and upgrading it, once you do, you're treated to an infinite damage wonder weapon that's kind of like the Slickofire in the sense that it shoots blue jizz all over the ground. It's not absolutely overpowered, especially since it doesn't come with a lot of ammo, but the KT-4 will always be a weapon you can count on. Blunder Gas / Magma Gas / Acid Gas. While some people may argue that they should be ranked separately, I'm gonna lump them together here in this spot. I've seen some people put this weapon up into the top 5, but I think it's a tad overrated. While the Vitrolic Withering helps a lot with the monkey bomb effect and has tons of ammo, it's not gonna be quite killing all the zombies too effectively in the high rounds. While the Blunder Gat is good, it's still not gonna carry you all the way up there, and the Magma Gat is a great remastered version of the weapon, Cerberus. The Cerberus is definitely the best Cold War wonder weapon and has a few different versions you can obtain, but they are all good and super fun to use as well as being very unique. While it's not overpowered wonder weapon, it's still up there as one of the best. Wonder Waff. It may be a surprise to see it this high on the list, but I think the Wonder Waff has been kind of underrated as of late. I mean, it's infinite damage, it gives drops, it's a decent wonder weapon, should never be in someone's top 5, but I don't like to see it ranked below other wonder weapons that aren't infinite damage. Wind Staff. The Wind Staff is like a cheaper thunder gun with a bit more ammo, and it's one of the better staffs since it's easier to build as well as being very unique and having the tornado effect that is super powerful. The Wind Staff is a super fun and is a great wonder weapon, and it's useful on any round, high rounds, early rounds, it doesn't matter. Thunder Gun. The Thunder Gun is one of the best wonder weapons ever, but people like to criticize the fact that it's boring and doesn't have much ammo. But honestly, I'm taking the Thunder Gun any day of the week to save my life and get me to those high rounds, any place, any map. Ancient Evil Gauntlets. The Ancient Evil Gauntlets are all unique and have their own story and lore tied to them. There isn't really one gauntlet that's a lot worse than the other, and all of them are very good for carrying you into the high rounds or just saving your life. It's a shame that not many people play Ancient Evil though. The Eisendrache Bows. The DE bows are a lot of fun to use and are extremely effective at getting you into the high rounds. I mean, you can literally just sit in the corner and keep shooting. The only downside I would say is that they aren't the best for killing panzers, but the bows are so good that any other gun on this map is pointless. Wave Gun. Now I know some people might look at me crazy for putting the wave gun this high, But I mean, not only does it turn zombies into a microwave and deal infinite damage, but it can then split into a dual weird pistol laser gun which one-shots and has a bunch of ammo. The wave gun does infinite damage and is one of the most unique and fun weapons to ever be introduced. Ice Staff. The Ice Staff is 100% the best out of all the staffs, dealing the most damage and having the most impact out of all the other staffs, while also being most fun to use. And let's be honest, it's very pretty to look at all the ice particles flying around. Apothicon Servant. The Apothicon Servant is the #1 wonder weapon for a lot of people, but the ammo for me just holds it back, and I'm not taking Gobblegums into account for this ranking. Sorry, Alchemical. But I will say this, yes, it is the best wonder weapon simply based off damage and effectiveness. However, you can't only use the Apothicon Servant. You're gonna need another weapon with double Pack-a-Punch or something in order to be getting drops, and for that reason, it's at this spot even though it is technically the best. Liquefier. Now, I had a hard time deciding what to put at the #1 and 2 spot, but I think I got it. This liquefier is one of the only weapons to where you can take out more than one horde with a single shot, and it's pretty easy to build as well. It's a super fun and overpowered weapon, especially before it was patched, but it's at #2 due to the fact that you have to load up Die Rise, and I don't want to play that. Baby Gun. Also known as a 3179 JGB 215. The baby gun is definitely the most unique weapon we've ever seen. You turn zombies into babies and just punt them all into oblivion. Statistically and ammo wise, this is the best wonder weapon of all time, and it's also the funnest wonder weapon to use. Some people say it's dangerous to run into the baby zombies, but it takes 25 hits, they aren't gonna kill you. And lastly, it's fitting that the best wonder weapon of all time is on the best map of all time. But thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed. Let me know if you want to see more lists and videos like this. Check out my other channels in the description, and have a great day.
And love is love, and hate is hate. To die is an awesome adventure, and I can hardly wait. Earth is a prison.